Steven's DIY Auto Repair.
Alright guys, so we're here with this 2001 Lexus RX300 and we're going to be doing a radiator replacement on this today. Why? Oh, I don't know. Maybe because of this giant crack in the radiator. So that was found on a quick visual inspection. So today we're going to be replacing this radiator. So I'm going to try to make this as short as possible. Also because the customer needs the car back ASAP. So we're going to try to do a quick video on this. I was really wanting to take my time with this video, but it looks like we're not going to get to. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to try to go ahead and maybe pressurize the system and see if there's any other leaks. But I highly doubt that's going to work because that's a big crack. And it's leaking pretty bad. So we'll definitely do it after we replace this to make sure there's no other leaks, or to make sure when we replace this there's no leaks. So what we're going to do real quick is we're going to drain the system and we're going to do a quick 1 or 2 flushes just to get any kind of material, sediments, anything out, so that it doesn't prematurely mess up our new radiator that we're going to put in. So I'm going to go ahead and drain it, do a couple cycles of the flush, and then we're going to start removing this bad boy. So real quick, service information: want you to remove the whole bumper as well as the evap core for your AC system here. But we don't have a recovery machine to recover this properly, and that's against the law if you just let it evaporate into the atmosphere. And we're trying to keep the customer's cost down, so we're going to just go ahead and wiggle this bad boy out. So hopefully I can show you guys all that. So stay tuned, it's going to be a ride. Alright guys, so we got this draining, and just as it's draining we're going along and pulling hoses off and disconnecting connectors as we wait for it to finish draining out. So like, here's our upper radiator hose. We took the fan connector off here and also on the other side. And I think what we're gonna do is I'm gonna try to take this whole radiator out with the fans attached to it. You don't have to do it that way. You can go in here, detach the whole fan shroud from the radiator and just kind of push that back and wiggle this out. But I'm hoping it's going to be easier to take the whole thing out. I can remount the fans to the new one and put it all back in one piece, and hopefully, cross our fingers, that's going to go a lot easier for us. So you got this middle bracket here that's going to cause you some problems, so you're not going to be able to get too much wiggle room. So there's a bolt on top, which is a 10 millimeter, and there's one on bottom. Hopefully you guys can see that. So with the top one, I just used a ratcheting wrench just to get this one off, because you can't get too much in there. You can't get a ratchet in there. So that's where we're at. We're going to keep disconnecting brackets as we go, and then I'll bring you guys back for a little bit of an update. Sorry, I was really wanting this video to be a lot better and go through the whole thing as I'm filming it, as I'm actually removing stuff, but my helper's not here and I'm trying to do the best I can and get this car out of here for the customer. So bear with me guys, bear with me. Alright guys, so we have our radiator out now. So we just went underneath, took off the lower radiator hose, took off the 2 transmission cooler lines, and then we started pulling it out. So we were able to get it out as a whole unit, but you want to come over here on your AC condenser and take the mounting bolts off at the top, so it gives you a little bit more wiggle room. So we were able to go ahead and get the whole assembly out. So now we're just going to take off the fan shroud from our old radiator. We're going to compare our old radiator to our new one. Make sure all the outlets, inlets are exactly where they're supposed to be. You also want to check your new radiator, make sure there's no cracks or anything before you install it. Sometimes you might get a hairline fracture, you're not going to see it. You're going to install it, pressure test it, and it's going to be bad. Just kind of what happens. So one thing I want to mention on this. So the bottom bolt you can't get from the back. What you have to do, and you have to do it in order to get enough room for the bottom to kick out to raise it out. You're going to have to lift the radiator, and hopefully you have some second pair of hands that can hold it, and then you're going to have to go underneath and zip that bolt out with an extension. If not, what I had to do was stick a screwdriver under there so it would hold the radiator up high enough, and then I was able to go under here just to get to that last bolt there on the bottom. It's kind of hard to see, so I just pulled this down and got up in there with an extension. So that's the best way to do it. So now we're going to go ahead and take that fan shroud off, compare it to our new radiator, and start installing this back together. So I didn't mention, but on our fan shroud we're going to have their 10mm bolts, fasteners. There's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's probably better to do it off the cart anyway. You're going to have a lot more room and less frustration. So let's go ahead and compare it to our new one, and we'll get this installed. Alright guys, so here's our new and our old. So we want to make sure we have the right fittings. So we have our lower radiator hose, outlet, inlet, whatever you want to call it, our transmission line, our petcock, our other transmission line, and this is where our one of our sensors goes, engine coolant temperature sensor. So as you can see, it's the same over here. The only thing is we're gonna have to take our sensor off here and put it on our new one. And then the top, upper radiator hose, and our radiator cap, same thing over here. The only problem I see, maybe you guys can see it on camera, is this is a lot thicker than this one. So I hope that does not present a problem, but it might. So I confirmed that this is supposed to fit. This is an aftermarket. The OEM was a little bit more expensive, so this is what the customer wanted to do. So we're gonna try this and cross our fingers and hope it works. So let's get this installed. All right guys, so now we got our radiator installed. It fit perfectly. It was a little bit harder getting it in than getting it out, because I don't know if the little bit of thickness has anything to do with it. But before we put it back in, we took this top bracket bolt out because it kind of hangs right there, and we didn't want to destroy our new radiator. So we got all of our brackets back in, all of our hoses. On the bottom we got all of the hoses back on, the transmission cooler lines. So now we're just going to go ahead, give this a good pressure test, wait 30-45 minutes, make sure it's holding pressure, cross our fingers it is. Hopefully there's no other leaks, so we don't have to give the customer any bad news, and hopefully there's no leaks in our new radiator. So we're going to go ahead, pressure test it. If the pressure holds, we're going to fill it up, drain, get any air in the system that might be in there because we opened it up, and once all the air is out, we'll send it. All right guys, so unfortunately we do still have a leak in our system. I spent a while trying to find this leak, and I just cannot find it. I even put distilled water in the system, hoping to see some drops coming, and I can't, which is telling me that it's an internal problem, which is probably the water pump or maybe the head gasket or the engine block. So that's bad news. But I'm running out of time only because the customer needs their car back because they got to go to work and make a living. So we might try to pick this up and finish a little diagnostic on it at another point in time. But for now, we're giving it back just like this. The good news is our radiator is not leaking. So our new radiator that we have is not leaking. I made sure all components and hoses that I connected and disconnected were put back. And yeah, that's about it. So I did try to burp the system as best that I could. I spent a while doing that. Come to find out, customer's heater wasn't working in the first place. So it's always good to make sure you ask your It's always good to make sure you ask your customers up front of problems or issues they might or may not have had. So I spent unnecessary time trying to burp the system and get the heater to start heating up when the heater wasn't working in the first place, which is probably a heater core problem. So anyway, I hope this is going to be a good video, guys. I really wanted to be a little bit more detailed with it and show you taking everything apart, but unfortunately it just didn't happen that way. And normally I put a video out every single week no matter what, but by the time you guys see this, I probably will have missed a week, only because I got some family issues going on, and my personal life needs the attention. So I apologize, but I'll get back to it as soon as possible. So, have a good one, guys. Alright, guys, I hope you liked this video. If you guys did, make sure to hit that like button. If you guys would like to be notified when I put out another video, make sure to hit that bell notification. And as always, guys, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more informational video and DIY projects. So thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next one. So, and as always, guys, until next time, have a good one.